More than 100 Sydney train staff have called in sick this morning amid an ongoing wage war between the union and the state government. Today, Sydney reporter Jack Hahn has the very latest live from Revesby in Sydney's southwest. Jack, what is the advice to Sydney-siders just trying to get around today?
I know, right? Trying to get to school, to work, to the airport, whatever it is. Well, essentially, the advice from Sydney Trains is to still just plan ahead, allow a little bit of extra travel time. This afternoon, still up in the air. There could be union action, but this morning, so far, so good. In fact, very good. 96% of Sydney trains are running on time. That's as good as it gets here in Sydney, and we have seen zero cancellations. It's due to 115 people calling in sick. That number sounds like a lot, but when you compare it to 700 that chucked a sickie on Friday, that's what triggered the major meltdown on Friday. Why are we seeing less sickies today? Well, it's probably due in large part to two reasons. The first one, the union has unashamedly said public that they want to have a good look going into court, so they want the trains to run perfect. So when they go into court, they look like the good guys. And secondly, it's been reported that the Transport Department is weighing up whether or not they will start asking for medical certificates from drivers and guards to prove that they are indeed sick when they say so and that they are not engaging in unprotected union action. Jane.
OK, Jack, thank you.
Sydney's major motorways are gridlocked this morning. Commuters opting to drive to work to avoid the train network following days of delays and cancellations. For more, we're joined by Toby Warnes from the New South Wales Rail, Tram and Bus Union. Toby, how does it feel to be one of the most hated men in Sydney right now?
I think you said that last time too, Carl. Trains are running at 100%.
It hasn't got better. It hasn't got better.
Sure, mate. Trains are running at 100% reliability. Chris Minns up in the rhetoric yesterday certainly doesn't help the situation. I think the Premier needs to understand that the things he says are listened to by people, even if they're not real. And it's a pity that he's decided to escalate rather than actually get in and solve this dispute.
OK, he says that he's not bowing to blackmail. Are you blackmailing the government?
Yeah, I don't think the Premier knows what blackmail is. It's that was a very, very odd statement. No, we're absolutely not. We're one small payment away from reaching a deal. We should have reached a deal last Thursday, but once again, the New South Wales government threw its toys out of the cot and walked away from the negotiating table.
The average Sydney train driver earns, more than $128,000 a year, and I guess you're throwing the transport network into chaos to get them more money. You can't be at all shocked, can you, that people are furious with you?
Look, I've got no idea where you get that figure from. The average Sydney train driver is on $88,000 per year. A train cleaner's on $55,000 per year. We've pretty much agreed on wages so far. This isn't about wages anymore. This is about existing entitlement that sits in our enterprise agreement that Transport for New South Wales, right at the last minute, decided it wanted to get back. So really, the chaos that people are seeing is being caused by the government. They issued 5,000 lockout notices. For the Premier to come out and say, this is our doing, after the Fair Work Commission comprehensively dismissed their case on the weekend is really rich.
So you want to get paid while you take industrial action?
No, no one gets paid while you take industrial action. That line's another piece of nonsense. Our members who haven't been showing up to work obviously aren't being paid. The nature of partial work bans are that you're still performing work. You simply can't just not pay people. So essentially what you're doing is, if you're saying we won't pay you or we won't accept any performance of work from you when you're coming to work and performing your full shift, is a lockout.
So negotiations resume tomorrow. When will the industrial action and when will trains be back on schedule permanently?
Look, as I said, we're not taking industrial action at the moment. The government is taking industrial action against our members. The Fair Work Commission sits tomorrow to consider the government's cooling off application. If the Fair Work Commission grants that order, then obviously we comply with whatever the Fair Work Commission said. You saw it yesterday when the trains ran smoothly after the President issued a recommendation. So we'll see what the full bench of the Fair Work Commission comes down with tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Thanks, Toby.
More commuter chaos this morning for Sydney-siders as confidence in the city's rail network plummets. Today, Sydney reporter Jack Hahn has the very latest live from Revesby in Sydney's southwest. Jack, are we expecting any major delays on the trains today?
Well, good morning to you, Jane. I have just gotten off the phone with Transport for New South Wales and I have very good news to bring to you. At the moment, there are 0 cancellations on the train network. In fact, 96% of Sydney trains are running on time. And I tell you what, that is essentially as good as it gets. It certainly suggests there has not been any mass sickies like there were on Friday. It may or may not have to do with the fact that Transport for New South Wales is reportedly weighing up whether or not they will now ask drivers and guards for medical notes, for doctors' notes to prove that they are indeed sick when they call in sick and are not engaging in unprotected industrial action. We know the roads, though, may be the real worry this morning. Tuesday, traditionally the busiest day behind the wheel, and yesterday the lack of confidence in the Sydney Trains network sent people behind the wheel, triggering traffic jams of more than 20 kilometres per hour. So we will keep an eye out on that, Jane.
Okay, Jack, thank you.